Hey there, Lindsay Norman here. Today we are going to talk about the product that your company sells. So this particular training video is really for people who are looking at network marketing for the first time and trying to figure out what kind of company do I want to work for. The product is going to be super important. This training is also going to be for people who are in a current company who are not happy and they're trying to figure out, what do I do next? Where do I go? What kind of product do I share? This is a great training video for you to kind of think through that. That's always my goal, is to help you think well through things. And then finally, this is also a great video if you are like, I don't know if I'm in I think I'm in a good company with a good product. This is a great video to kind of look and say, how am I assessing my product? So that's what we're going to focus in on today. The product is absolutely critical. And I don't know about you, but I actually cannot be with a company and selling a product that I don't 100% believe in. And so it's an integrity issue for me. I have to not only have a good experience with it, I have to believe that others will as well. So let's actually look at the product, okay? So here are a couple of things that I like to look at as it relates to the product, and because your product is always going to be one of your avenues for earning income, right? When you're joining a network marketing company. So one of the big questions is, do people need it? Do they need your product? Or is it like extra? Like, is it, something that they could go to the store and purchase? Or is it something where it's like, oh, if I have extra money I can get? Or is it like, I need this for my quality of life? Okay, so that's a big question, is, do people need it? And in the same vein, does it create value for people? So that is a huge one. And that's actually something where I can really come alongside and share a product with people if I feel like it's going to add value to your life. And I truly believe that. There are a lot of products, honestly, where I'm like, I can't say it's going to add value, but you might really like it and you might find it's fun to use. But does it actually add value to your life? That is the question. For me, a product that I'm sharing must add value to people's lives. Okay. The other question you want to ask is, who is the product for? So if you're going to share a product and you want to do it over time, one of the things you want to look at is this not only a timeless product, but who does it apply to? So does it just apply to women? Does it just apply to women over a certain age? Does it apply to men and women? Does it apply to all age groups? And I would encourage you, actually, when you're asking this question, not to be overly optimistic. So here's what I mean by that. Like, let's say you're selling bags. I'm from Minnesota. I live in Texas. So I say bags. So if you're like, wow, that's a really long A, I say bags. So let's say you're selling bags, right? We know that in general, women are going to buy bags, but you might say, well, I sell bags, but little kids can use these bags and men can use these bags. No. Who is going to purchase the bag? That is going to be women, and usually women who are probably middle age or older. Okay. If you sell makeup, it's limited to women who would wear makeup. So like teenagers and older. If you sell pans, it's limited to people like cooking pans, right? It's going to be to like, okay, it's for people who cook or who enjoy being in the kitchen, right? So you want to actually look at that. If you sell like a supplement, what age group is that for? Okay, so you're really looking at, honestly, not who can use it, but honestly, who's going to purchase your product. And I find that I'm like, if my product can apply to more people, that is better, right? We obviously want, that means our audience is greater, which means we have more of a chance of really of sharing the product with people who are more likely to purchase it. So it's not as hard to bring on customers, right? Because it applies to more people. So here's another question. Is your product affordable? So this is so important because we know that people's budgets are limited now. So is your product affordable? And again, this requires an honest assessment. I'm not asking you to put on your rose-colored glasses for your company, be like, yes, these are all the reasons why it's so valuable and everybody should want it. So I'm actually asking you to put the lenses of the consumer on you, on your eyes, and say, okay, if I'm looking through it through the lens of a consumer, does my consumer think this product is affordable? That's what you want to do, especially if you're trying to figure out, what company do I go with? What product line do I want to represent? Is that product going to be affordable? Here's another thing. When you are looking to start a business, you want to know that your product is going to stand the test of time. So what I mean by that is anybody can get excited for a short period of time about a product. They can sell it on social media for 3 months, 6 months, even a year. But the question is, over time, are you going to be excited about your product to keep sharing it? And so here is like, let me add a few more thoughts on that. Does your product pigeonhole you? So when I say that, like, well, here's what I'm thinking about. Like, let's say you're selling candles. Candles are great, but there's only so many ways you can share about candles, right? So like when you're thinking, okay, after I've shared about candles for 2 and 3 years, am I going to still be excited about candles? That's something you want to think about. If you're thinking about hair care, let's say your company sells hair care primarily, like this is what we sell, a hair care line. After 2 years and 3 years, are you still going to be excited about selling hair care? I know over time for me, I'm like, there's only so many ways that I know when I was with a company for 10 years, after like 5 or 6, I was like, there's only so many ways I can share this product, and I'm starting to feel a little bit bored. And so that now, can we get creative on that? Absolutely. But it's something for you to think about as you're trying to figure out what company do I want to be with? What product line do I currently represent? Is your product something that can adapt and adjust and kind of stand the test of time with you? Or does it pigeonhole you really to be like, you're really just talking about 1 or 2 things, and this is really what you're going to be talking about and sharing with people for the next several years. And again, I say several years because I'm like, if I'm going to invest in this business and build something, I'm doing it for the long run, not just for the short run of the hustle and some immediate income. Like whatever I build and use today, like I want it to grow into something into the future. So that's why I'm looking at, does my product actually help me do that? Okay. Does your product have a range of uses? That's another thing that I like to look at is, does my product allow me, like, does it have multiple functions, or is it really like, this is just what it's for right here? So that's another thing. And then finally, of course, and you might be wondering like, why hasn't she talked about testing? I think testing is super important. Actually, some of my thoughts on testing is I really believe that network marketing companies have some of the best products. And the reason why is because I believe that network marketing companies go through so much scrutiny from many people that they have to have the research and testing because the FTC and the FDA are on them all the time saying, prove it, prove it, prove it. So because of that, I do find a lot of companies do have testing on their products. And so, but you absolutely want to ask, like, this is a non-negotiable. You absolutely need to ask, what is the testing done on your product? Do you have research teams currently? What does your product development team look like? So the product is super important, you guys. If you do not have a solid product that's been tested over and over and over again with research that includes things like clinical trials that you can share with people to solidify and verify that what you have is legitimate, that would be a red flag for me. You would need and want that just as like a baseline when you're looking at companies and products. So those are some things for you to look at today. Remember to put on the lens of the consumer when you are answering these questions, and also put on the hat of a business owner. Of course, you always want to sell a product that you love. And that's actually the last thing I'm going to end with. You want to share a product that you love. You will share it most genuinely if you're sharing a product that you love. However, I'm going to add a little caveat at the end. You might have a product that you love that doesn't apply to the general population, or you have to work really, really hard to get them to see the same thing that you see. If you do that, if you choose a product like that, it's not bad. Just know that you are going to have to overcome more objections and commit really strongly to your product and go through probably more difficult business building than if you have a product that you not only love, but that other people love too, naturally and organically. So I would actually finish by saying, make sure not only do you absolutely love the product so you can share it genuinely, but does the general population, does the general consumer look at your product and say, I want that has a value, that is affordable, I can use that for my family. That is going to make your business building easier and also very genuine and organic to build. So think about your product today. That is a super important aspect of the business. Hopefully this allowed you to think a little bit more deeply about that. Have a good day.